3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Welcome to PaRANTing. It's a podcast about kids. That kids shouldn't listen. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the PaRANTing podcast. If you've never been here before, welcome to the PaRANTing podcast, where everything's crazy and never works, and we always have technical difficulties, but we have a really good time doing it. This is episode 32, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I have a beverage. I am the KDG in Tantallon, Nova Scotia. First of all, I just wanted to plug really quickly. I don't know if you can see this. If you're watching the video, I have a really nice hoodie on right now. It's really pretty and great, and it says PaRANTing Podcast, and they're really cool podcasts. So if you're interested in having one, you can go on and follow our socials and figure out where to buy one of those. Second, my co-host, who is also my cousin, who is not stressed at all, Mark Adam, who is in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Everything's fine. We're fine. Welcome back to the podcast, or welcome to the podcast. This is the shit show that is the podcast in our lives. And basically what we were saying earlier, this is just on brand for our week. So welcome to the shit show.
I love that you said that, as we said earlier, but the recording is going to start after that. Anyway, for those watching live, we discussed this earlier. The debacle that is my week, our weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it works.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been. It has just been.
It has been.
I don't know what it has been, because when you go like, oh, it's been a day. It's been more than a day, and I'm just full of.
I feel like the energy that we're both pushing off right now is like, holy shit, calm the fuck down. Like I think that's what people are like, okay, you guys need to chill out. Like it's fine. But it's been like, I think so high level stress this whole week and even today, and then trying to get set up. We are like almost a full hour late recording. So
I don't listen.
It's fine. Listen, it's fine. We're here. We're going to record. If you're not listening live, this won't even matter to you, because if you listen to it after it goes live, the audio or video version of this, you won't give a fuck. It's fine. This is just like a normal day.
I would like to also point out that my audio is not playing through to Twitch right now. I don't care. We're recording. I don't know what's going on.
It's fine. You know what? We'll figure it out. It's totally fine. It's fine. So your audio is now not playing through Twitch. Is that what you're saying?
It's not, but I'm recording through my GarageBand.
Okay.
So it'll be fine, I guess. I'm not sure why it stopped because it was working fine, and then it just wasn't.
Okay. Well,
so whatever.
So if
that's the kind of week we've had. Oh.
I know. So if you're watching, I don't know if anyone's watching live right now on Twitch, but if you didn't hear any, obviously, of what Adam's saying, basically his audio is just not working. So you're just going to hear basically half of the side of the conversation, I
switched mics.
Did you?
I switched mics.
Okay.
So they should, at this point, be able to hear me on the stream, but I'm not up till I just click the button.
Okay. So if you're on watching and are able to just give like a thumbs up that you can hear both of us, that would be super helpful.
And I quit. We're taking next week off. Screw this.
We actually are.
We were already planning to do that. But this is my excuse.
Okay, perfect. I mean, we'll, whatever. We'll get through the debacle of this week. So I don't know. I don't know what else to do here at this point, except for just to keep moving on.
Okay. Look, first of all, the socials she mentioned, we have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Obviously, we have Twitch. So twitch.tv/PaRANTing, same as facebook.com/PaRANTing. And then everything else just gets really fucking complicated from there. So Twitter is @PaRANTingPod. Instagram is @PaRANTingPodcast. For the YouTube one, just go to YouTube and search PaRANTing Podcast. It'll come up. It'll be the 3 lines like what you see over my shoulder over here.
Or on my really cool sweater that I'm wearing. It's just, yeah.
Or on, Katie's dope sweater. Check it.
Yes. I was really hoping I had another purchase that I was hoping it would be here for the podcast, but it hasn't been. Hasn't been. Jesus, it's not here. So
it not isn't.
It not isn't here. Fuck. we are such a mess. I'm so sorry.
Why are you a mess? You start, and then I will tell you why I'm a mess, and then everyone will be caught up.
I am a mess because I am me, and period. That's pretty much it. But aside from just being who I am, mine honestly is just work related. It really is. This for the type of work that I do, which is in like the natural gas industry. And so we have to like get these contracts for like the summer that have to be signed and ready for like before April 1st. So the entire month of March is just a clusterfuck for me. And today, for whatever reason, I'm working from home today. And for whatever reason, everything happened all at once this morning. And it was like I sat down at my computer at 8:30 and I looked up and it was like almost 1 o'clock. And I was like, how did that even happen? Like, what happened? I didn't eat anything. I didn't have a coffee. I didn't have anything to drink. I was just sitting here like dehydrated and shaking, typing emails. Like, I don't know what happened. It was wild. So I feel like our energy is on point with just, I feel like I'm just exuding this like anxiety that I have from like the day. So that is where I'm at, aside from like all of the other things in life. But for today specifically, that's where I'm at. I am stressed and everything was, kind of okay. And then we got a little bit of a technical issues, but we're here and we're working through it.
Just a little bit of technical issues.
Just one or two. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Look.
So tell me.
Just what's that sculpture, the Thinking Man or whatever?
Yeah, except there's just nothing going on up here in my brain.
No, mine is going a mile a minute. I can't catch a thought, let alone. Right. Anyway, focus on.
Wait, I just want to.
Oh.
There you go.
I know you're in Halifax, and that still made me feel better.
There you go.
I don't know why. I'm just going to keep pumping this caffeine into my body.
I'm ready. You tell me what's going on with you. What's happening? We're going to get caught up first. You guys can bear with us. Skip ahead if you want to hear other things. That's fine.
I recently started a new part-time job where I'm doing project management for tech stuff, which is no stranger to, but it's just been kind of chaos because everything was like go, go, go. And now we went so fast that the client is like, oh, we have to gather this info for you because you're going faster than we expected. So we're like, yay, we went fast. But now there's a lot of like trying to figure out what the next steps are, and it's chaos, and it's a lot of fun, but it's like a lot of stress all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. High risk, high reward kind of situation where our clients are big clients, and I can't talk about it because of the NDA type of clients. So it's a big deal. And so because of that, there's also like a lot of pressure for this project to go well for the company I work for. And like, there's a lot going on here. And then on top of that, yesterday, my youngest, her school had no school yesterday because it was parent-teacher interviews.
A PD day after a March break. Genius. But anyway, sorry.
Well, it was parent-teacher interviews, right?
Oh, okay.
So we did that, and I had the call with her teacher and all that. And then I run the beta version of Mac OS because I'm trying to get universal control working, which is where one computer can control the other computer, which was working fine, and then it wasn't, and I was trying to get it to work, and whatever I did, I screwed something up, and it froze, and it broke, and it wouldn't load again. So I had to reinstall my operating system on my Mac Mini, which is where I run all this from, all of what you see
all
before
of
you.
This glorious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. So all that happened, and then and then I died a little inside.
Me every day.
Well, because I'm doing all that and I'm scrambling, and I wasn't really in a lot of pressure yesterday, and I was sort of trying to figure it all out and pace myself to make sure I put all the right applications back, and as I did it, set up all the right settings and this, that, the other thing. And then I kept getting like, oh yeah, right, I also have to do this. Oh yeah, right, I also have to install this. And I would click on something and it's like, oh, you don't have this installed. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, just trying to like organize all that. And then today, a buddy of mine, and I'm gonna off air a lot of my venting about this, but a buddy of mine he just needed some help today, and so he's a good friend of mine. I love the guy like a brother, and I was like, oh yeah, of course, I'll come help. And I get there, and I got all the way over there after like waiting for my kid to come home, taking her in the car and drive down to do and then he's like, oh, we got it going just as you pulled up. And I was like, okay. So then I didn't have to actually go over there at all. But then I was like, okay, now I have to feed the kid and make sure that I'm back and then set all the rest of the things up for the podcast. And I don't know if I have enough time. It turns out I really didn't. But that was even before all the other things. And then, I clicked on the GarageBand icon and it was like, yeah, we can install that for you. And I'm like, right, that doesn't come pre-installed as part of Mac OS.
That was one of the funny things too. It was like, oh, we're like, okay, let's go live. I'm like, we need to start our audio. And we're like, oh yeah, let's just start that. And it was like, because we record our audio through GarageBand. It was like, oh, we can install that. We're like, okay, so I'm going to go grab another beverage and then we'll reconvene when that's ready to go. But we're here.
In the time I invited you onto the call ready to go.
Yeah.
You
drank 2 drinks and peed twice. So.
Yeah. So this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Those are accurate things that happened.
I'm just saying, like, it was a long time.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
I apologize. I really do. I'm so sorry.
Listen, it's quite all right. It's fine. It's a Thursday night. This is a perfect time. That's why I think it's a great night for us to actually record, because it's a Thursday night. If things do go awry, if you will.
Awry.
Yeah, we've got time to do this. It's like, even if like the kids and stuff are going to come home while we're recording this, I don't care. That's what this podcast is. It's a PaRANTing podcast. Whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. I don't care.
And normally the ranting is pretty centered around parenting or subjects that connect directly to that. But today, most of my anger, and the other thing is my neck and my shoulders have been so sore that like I have not been able to function without naproxen. So
okay.
It's been because I don't know what I did. I just slept funny, I guess. I don't know.
Well, if you're an anxious person like myself, I know that I am a tense sleeper, and I also grind my teeth. So I'm a tense, my jaw is very tense at all times, and I forget that that's a thing until I'm like, I relax. I'm like, oh shit, my fucking mouth hurts. Yeah. Like, why am I like clenching so hard? But I'm also a very tense like sleeper. So I wake up with like kinks in my back and stuff as well. So I totally get that. It's usually mine's stress and anxiety induced. It's like you go to sleep thinking you're like, oh, when you're asleep and unconscious, like it's not going to be a thing. And then your body's like, ha, just kidding. We're going to rage all that together and you're going to sleep like this and wake up unrested. That's literally what it feels like.
Like that feeling of like white knuckle driving, only you're unconscious.
But you're sleeping. You're supposed to be like relaxed, and your body's like, fuck you, bitch. We're going to ride through this whole night like this too. It's so infuriating because that's the time for you to sleep, and then you wake up and you're just white knuckling it through another day of work. So anyway, we're like so at a 10 right now, and that's just where we are. So hop right in on the 10 because I can't go back right now. I'm like on 10.
I feel you. I'm so just lost right now. Like anyway. It doesn't even matter.
It's fine.
Let's talk about what did we actually plan to talk about today?
Well, okay. So there's a couple of things that we had to talk about. One thing I had just a rant about. So one thing I wanted, I guess, to rant about was how to load a dishwasher So for whatever reason, we've had a dishwasher in this house since we've lived here over 10 years. It's still like a mystery for people to load it properly. And maybe I will take on the responsibility of the fact that I have control issues and I want things to be done my way. I totally own that.
You don't say.
I totally own that. However, there are just things that make zero sense when you put things in the dishwasher. So one thing that will happen with the kids especially, they don't want to actually open the dishwasher. They'll like kind of crack it open a little bit, slide the top shelf open just enough to put a cup in the very front, even though the whole thing could be empty. They'll slide it right in the front, so then when you open it, everything falls out. When I open it, it's like everything falls forward, and I have to like rearrange everything on the top. For whatever reason, everything goes in the front. And same with the bottom. If they have utensils, it goes in the front. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, aside from just pure laziness of just not wanting to open it. But this has happened so many times. And even today, I had to like rearrange things that were in the dishwasher or take stuff out that I'm like, this is not going to get washed in here. So I'm going to hand wash that, because I think that is one of the biggest things from this generation or whatever, is that hand washing dishes is not a thing. And that's all I used to do. There was no dishwasher back when I was growing up. We were the dishwashers. Myself, my mom, whatever. We were the dishwashers. There was... Anyway, so... But they've only ever grown up with a dishwasher, so it just boggles my mind. But I guess there's just no option for... I have to wash by hand. What is that? So I was so infuriated this week with that.
If you ask my parents what happened when the dishwasher stopped working in our house.
Oh,
right?
no. What happened?
Well, Dad would smack me and tell me to get back to work.
There you go, Mark. Good job. Do your goddamn dishes.
Yeah. So I totally get it, because in my house, and listen, my partner Katie is awesome. She takes on so much, and she does a lot of the cleaning and the organizing and like I help where I can, but like she's the organizer, and it's just kind of the way it has been. Mm-hmm. And the one issue I have is, well, there were two, but I kind of like very easily gave one up, and that was the washer. The way she does laundry, she does not sort colors.
Oh, I don't either. Everything goes in.
No.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Anyway, whatever. It is. I have learned to live with that. And now, like, if there's just a basket of her shit, all of it goes in.
Dump it in.
But I still separate my colors and stuff when I do the laundry. But then she doesn't when she does my stuff. So it's whatever. It is what it is. It's one of those little things that I was like, whatever, I'll let go. I absolutely fucking hate how she loads the dishwasher. I hate it. I hate it so much. She is so amazing, and I love her to death.
So what about it do you not like, though? Are there other specific, just where things go or how they're put, though?
How they're angled. Like,
yes. Okay.
Big plates go with big plates. Little plates go with little plates. Like, they all have places. Like, big plates go over here, and they go this way. And the girls, like, plastic plates go over here, and they go this way. And plastic bowls go on the top shelf, and they go in here. And you know what I mean? Like, just, but it's like, I do it the same every time. And then I'll go up, you know, if I let it go too long, which sometimes I do, because I get busy and I'm easily distracted. So sometimes I let it go too long, and then the kitchen's a bit of a disaster. And then she gets upset with me and ends up cleaning it herself, like spite cleaning.
Oh, that angry, like really loud cleaning. I've done that many times.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Totally. I get that.
And if I'm not in the kitchen to hear it, it'll be like, you know, the first thing she'll say to me after she's done is, "Hey, what do you think of the kitchen?" Like, rubbing it right in. But the only real, like, serious complaint I have about her and cleaning is the way she loads the dishwasher. It's fucking chaos. Half the shit doesn't get clean.
Yeah.
It's
That's my thing, is that the way that things are. So I think what bothers me the most, like you said, is the way that things are put in there. So if you put, so we have some bowls, like we have like regular bowls, and then we have some of these like they're square but deep bowls. So you can't put those on their side because they won't get washed inside them, right? You have to make sure that they're upside down. There's like a rack for them. Yes. They never get put in that way. They're always like on their side. I'm like, how is this going to get washed? And 9.99 times out of 10 when they're put in that way, and sometimes I'm like, I don't give a fuck and just slam it closed and put the dishwasher on. I go to empty the dishwasher because that's another thing that unless you say, can you empty the dishwasher, it doesn't get emptied. Like, you know what I mean? It has to be something you have to tell kids to do. They just don't think of it on their own, which is whatever. That is its own thing, and that's a whole other thing. But I have to end up taking those back out because they're not washed ever. And so I have to hand wash them. So
I actually am bad for not emptying the dishwasher until I have to fill it. Like, okay, I'm going to fill the dishwasher. So then I go and empty the dishwasher and put everything away and da-da-da.
Yeah, I think the thing is I have to step back sometimes about the way that I get, like, things that upset me when it comes to just cleaning, period. So there are things that bother me and they don't bother anyone else in the house, and that's what bothers me. It doesn't, like, I'm like, how can you live in this chaos? And those are my own like idiosyncrasies and things that bother me. So I take that.
But they're still valid. They're still important.
They are important for sure. And it's just, I think because, you know, I am the one that cleans more often, like, you know, not necessarily just the kitchen, because, you know, Rod will help with, you know, cleaning the dishes and all that kind of stuff. But everything else is like, you know, I always am like anal about people walking on the floors with their shoes on, because it's like no one else in this house is going to be sweeping and cleaning the floors except for me. So that's like, it's like those things that you start, like, you're watching everyone's move of like where they're walking with their shoes on, because you're like, I just swept these, and I feel like an old grumpy lady sometimes. So I feel like I sometimes will get mad and then I'll step back and be like, okay, Katie, like, just fucking go have a drink and just give less fucks. And that's kind of sometimes where I end up, really.
My goal is to get to a point where, like, the kids are doing what they need to be doing, and it doesn't bother me that they're doing it the way they're doing it.
Exactly. That's exactly
I need to get
it.
there.
Yep.
And I know that, like, my job is to do things well enough that Katie doesn't try and take over. Like, there's a lot of spouses who use weaponized incompetence, which is like, do it so poorly she never asks you to do it again. Mm-hmm. And I hate that mentality. I hate that. And I don't want to be that guy that gets, like, that, whose girlfriend or fiance or wife or whatever, my partner, I don't want to be that guy that gets her so frustrated that she's like, well, if I'll just do it myself, because that's never, you don't win in that scenario. So, like, yeah, you don't have to do the laundry or whatever the task is that you're messing up on purpose, but you are certainly going to cause some issues.
Well, I think, like,
for yourself,
I totally understand. I understand that. Like, there's, if you're in the mentality of like, I'm just going to do this poorly so you don't ask me to do it again, that's definitely very much a kid thing to do as well. It's a very immature thing to do. So, but that's one of the things that I've pushed for when the kids started getting older and they started making their own, like, food, like cooking themselves something after school or whatever it might be. And I'm like, you can make whatever you want, but you need to clean up your mess because I'm not your maid. So if you cook something or make a mess in the kitchen, you clean it. I have, you know, the things that I wouldn't think I'd have to be like, when, after you're done cooking, like, wipe off the counters. That, like, didn't register in the brains. Like, there was like stuff all over the counter, and like, I cleaned this bowl, and you're like, great, but there's shit all over the counter. Like, there's salmonella, I'm pretty sure, somewhere on this counter. But there's those things that you kind of have to reel back some of that. I don't want to call it like OCD, because that's something that's like a diagnosed thing, but it's more of like a whatever it is, like however you are, that you get a little bit anal about stuff like that. And it's something that, you know, I don't think about having to say because I just do it. But when you have like a kid, like your kid's just kind of doing this for the first time or just starting to do it, they're not going to just do that, you know, normally. They're not going to be like, oh, I should wipe this counter down. But one of the big things was that it has happened on many occasions where one of the kids have made something and they cleaned what they had been using, and like we have like a mat on the side of our sink where you can just put stuff to dry rather than like drying it and putting it away. I'm like, you can just lean it there and let it dry, and I'll even put it away later if it's clean. I don't even care about that. But,
as long as it's clean.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can let it sit, like just air dry. That's fine with me. Like I've come around to that. I was not like that when Rod and I first got together, but I've come to realize that that's a battle I'm not gonna win, and I'm just it's fine. But I would go to put it away, and there would still be shit all over it. I'm like, okay, wash it again. This is not clean. So the thing is, you can do it shitty, but I will make you rewash that 17 times if I have to, because I'm not doing it out of spite. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I'm not going to just do it for you because you're doing it shitty, like you said. So it's like, I will make you wash this 17 times if I have to before I put it away.
Weaponized incompetence does not fly.
Yeah, exactly. Just, maybe regular incompetence, but not that stuff. Not the weaponized one.
Normal incompetence. Your teenagers, that's a thing.
That's totally fine. I get that.
Yeah, normal. Very normal.
Anyway, that was a long rant about like dishwasher stuff. But anyway, I just had to mention it because it was something that happened this week. And I was very infuriated, plus on top of work and everything. I was just like so infuriated. So anyway, there's that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're getting it out, but I relate hard, and I try not to be that guy that does whatever the other thing is wrong, But yeah, Katie has way lower standards when it comes to cleanliness. But when she cleans hard. Like, she doesn't care as much about the how. Like, if I go clean something, she's not like, oh, you did it how? Like, you did it what way? She doesn't care about that, which is good. The only thing that the laundry thing bugs me, but whatever. It is what it is.
Well, my thing on the laundry is that I personally don't wear many white things because I can't be trusted with white clothing. I will make it dirty in 3.2 seconds. So I never have to separate the whites because I don't fucking wear any. It's fair. Never an issue for me.
That's fair. But the only thing that bugs me is the dishwasher thing. So when you brought that up, I was like, ooh, I can relate because I knew where you were going with it. So, it's like half. It's half like just using logic and half just my own personal preference of how it's loaded. So it's a little bit of a mixture of both. So I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm valid in saying like, if you put this bowl where the hole's on the top, you think that's going to get washed? That's not how that's going to work. So I don't understand. It will collect all of the soapy water.
It really will. It has. And it has. You just take it from the dishwasher to the sink.
But like, I also load the dishwasher because like we have kids. So like some of our dishes are plastic. And in the dishwasher, they can like flip over because of the pressure of the water.
Yeah.
Because they're not heavy enough to hold themselves down.
Right.
I load the dishwasher in such a way that things can't do that. And nobody else sees that part of it. So the logic part to me is like the main, like, why would you think that that's okay? Right?
Yeah. I think it's because maybe if they don't empty it enough or to see like, oh, that doesn't get washed when you load it like that.
Yeah.
Because, there's for whoever unloads the dishwasher and you're like, oh, that still has stuff in it. Although I have found bowls, it's always the bowls that are like in the cupboard and I go to pull them down. They still have stuff in them. I'm like, so if I ask one of the kids to put stuff away, they don't give a fuck what it looks like on the inside. They just put it away. I'm like, you know what? I guess fair enough. That's what I asked you to do. But that's where the logic comes in. Logically speaking, are you going to eat out of that bowl? Because probably not.
Because that's the thing. And Katie's really good for that. So Katie's good for like checking the dishes when she's putting them away. And she's the first partner I've had that's good at that. Like good at like, you're not just putting it away. It's looking at it and putting it away because, she makes a lot of things. She makes a lot of Mennonite food, and you back in Halifax may not know what that means, but everything is very white and has like a gravy style consistency, and it hardens on like cement. So everything has to be soaked, or at least rinsed right away, or soaked, and then like when it goes in the dishwasher, you have to check, because just because that bowl that you had the stuff in is now clean, if there was like that debris in it and it got stuck somewhere else, then now that is covered in whatever that is, like the white Mennonite sauce. I don't even know what to call it. I just call it Mennonite food. Like,
just food. Just food is fine.
all of the Mennonite food that I've had is white. It's all white. It's pierogies. It's it's this like white sauces. It's everything is white. It's flour and cream and whatever other things go in it. But those are the two main ingredients in everything: flour and cream.
Right. But those are the things that are, if you don't rinse or soak prior to, then you're going to be sitting there at the sink like trying to scrub something off.
I know.
Right?
And
so
we have been we're like ranting on and on about.
I know. This could be like an entire hour. We don't have to do this. We'll just move on.
People are literally like, enough about the dishes. Like, okay.
I know, I get it.
I am sorry.
I get it.
So how's that family Wordle competition coming along?
Listen, I've been slack on putting it on social media, because like we just send it to each other in the morning. I'm like, oh, cool, good job. And then I just move on with my day while I'm working, right? And I forget to put it. I have them all tracked though, but it's been going really well.
I'd like to point out that I'm winning.
Well, of course. Of course. So what I was going to say is that, yes, because the last 2 days, it took me, I think 5 out of 6 the last couple of days.
You got it in 2 today.
And I did get it in 2 days. It was it just happened to be the first word. But my starting word was incredibly helpful. So I was able to get it in 2, which was great. So, but the last couple of days I kind of struggled a little bit. And then I was kind of like at the 4 for a couple of days. So anyway, I don't have the averages and like math done, but yeah, I would say that Adam's definitely.
You should be keeping a spreadsheet.
Listen, I do enough fucking shit in the day. I'm not keeping a spreadsheet. Like, I'll do that shit at the end. I don't have time for that. I don't even have time to post them. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I got bronchitis.
I grabbed no shoes, no nothing, Jesus.
I said, Lord Jesus.
Got me a cold pop. Anyway. Fuck. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that was a big thing.
You're winning, so I'm sure you're happy about that. You're definitely winning. But I did get it in 2, so maybe things are looking up.
I'm happy about that. But I would like to point out that I already knew that I was going to win, so it's not really super exciting for me.
Here we go. I already knew I was going to win. Shut up. Get out of here. Anyway, you haven't won yet. You're just winning right now.
Yes. Prepare for more winning as time goes on.
Shut up. Get out of here. Anyway. Moving on.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, moving on. If you have something else to add to that, go ahead. I can't wait to hear you talk about how much you're going to win. It's my favorite thing.
No. Listen, I've already covered it. I'm going to win. It's an accepted fact at this point for me, and I look forward to you conceding victory at the end. Which, by the way, is when? When is that?
Yeah, I still don't have the math worked out on that either. Listen, you're asking a lot of me for today. Okay,
fair enough.
We said a month, so whenever we started to a month from then, that's when we'll figure it out. So that's not a today problem. That's a Katie tomorrow problem.
Right.
It's like I normally hate Friday Katie because she's like, oh, Monday, I can do that on Monday. And then Monday Katie's like, fuck Friday Katie. Because then I have to do all that stuff that I didn't want to do on Friday. So that's kind of what this competition is, and keeping track of it is I'll deal with that. Future Katie can deal with that. We'll figure it out later.
Future Katie's like the website is Future Adam's problem. I keep meaning to do something with it and like create one for us. And then you know what I do is not that. So it's I get the procrastination side of it as well. I'm sorry, okay? I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person.
Oh, that's a whole other anyway, never mind. This
The next episode is karaoke-anting.
I feel like I feel like this gives, like, today's podcast is giving the vibes of when we were doing the PaRANTing After Dark and we had a couple of drinks and we're just, like, talking about whatever. So if you have never listened to any of those couple of episodes, there are those available. I think there's maybe one or two. We didn't get many of them, but those ones were just more of us just being ourselves and not really talking about parenting stuff and just, you know,
just hanging
out. But anyway,
it was marked as a bonus episode for sure. It wasn't a
for sure
proper.
And I can link those ones too, because like Adam said, we are taking next week off just due to kind of scheduling conflicts. So I'll be kind of posting stuff about maybe older podcasts. So maybe I'll do that. I'll kind of link some of those other ones.
Or maybe next week I can play the video that.
Yeah.
For anybody that wanted to watch live, I could play that video. Because by next week, it was yesterday that the thing had to restart. And by next week, I will certainly have all my software back to where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So
we'll figure that out next. That's next week problem. Future us problems.
Future Adam's problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was for me personally, I guess, but not only that, or being able to order things online and having everything delivered to your door and having...
My kids are so freaking spoiled.
Yeah, so there's like a struggle and like a fine line between like having the convenience. So, you know, this has been a thing for quite a few years, but it's just the fast food industry itself. Convenience. You pay for convenience and... You know, you get something very quickly. Is it good for you? Probably not. But
odds are no.
But odds are definitely if it took them 2 seconds to make that, probably not good for you. But it's like this never-ending battle of, you know, being able to have that like instant gratification or instant whatever. You know what I mean? It's I feel like it almost sends like a unrealistic precedent for, say, like the in quotes real world. You know, when you start your in quotes real job, like whatever that is.
The real world, yeah.
Yeah, like it's I don't know how I feel about it. I am the worst for ordering things online because ever since COVID, I would much rather order everything I possibly can online and have it delivered to my door. It's the best thing ever. However, then I have a problem because I forget, like sometimes you have a couple of drinks and you're on Amazon and you click on all these things and you hit order. And then, you know, on Tuesday, you're like, why the fuck is there a box here? And you're like, oh shit, drunk Katie. See, drunk Katie was up to it again. And she ordered a bunch of stuff that she probably shouldn't have.
Oh, the other day I was, I was a little intoxicated, and Katie and I were both like talking about how we're hungry, and half hour goes by, 45 minutes or so, and I'm like, oh man, we should order food. And then ding dong, food showed up, and I was like, oh, apparently 45 minutes before when we decided we were hungry, we ordered food. So
you forgot that you actually ordered food, and it just
and then it showed up.
You know what?
So it's kind of like the food equivalent of like when you put on your winter jacket for the first time for the year, and there's like
and you find
20
money
bucks
in
in the
there.
pocket, and you're like, yes!
That is the
and you're
best.
like, it's a free $20. It's like, no, it's called investing. You just put that in there.
There's just no interest accrued. That's all. It's just straight.
Especially if your jacket doesn't have any sleeves, then it's really investing.
Okay, dad joke. Get out of here.
Gotta give the people what they want, Katie. That's why we're here.
You know what? There's an account that I've started following, and it's a bunch of dad jokes, and I think I'm going to start introducing those into our top tweets as well. Not like included with our top tweets. Is that what I said? Introducing? That's what I meant to say. See, this is what happens.
Allow me to introduce my cousin, Katie.
This is what happens when it takes us like an hour to get set up. It's too late at this point. Anyway.
What you're saying is you're inebriated.
No. I didn't order food, and it's going to be here in 45 minutes. I can tell you that.
Didn't you tell Rod to bring food back?
No.
He left the house.
No, they're back now. Somewhere.
Without food? Come on now.
I know.
Rod, I know you're listening.
Where's the food?
Ooh, yeah, feed the lady.
Anyway,
yeah,
I was going
but
to introduce those along with our top tweets is what I was going to say. That's not what I said.
I like that.
Anyway.
I like that. But back to the convenience, like I love Amazon, like you said, it's so easy. And half of the crap that you see on my desk here, like this is all basically ordered on Amazon.
I love Fry from Futurama was like in the corner. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have something on in the background, that white noise, baby. Just gotta have it going.
I agree.
But yeah, like I love Amazon. It's super, super convenient. But sometimes having instant access to things is, I don't know, is it ruining our kids is my question, first of all. Forgetting, because we can get to the environmental impact of everything being single sizes and super conveniently packed, and the amount of single-use plastics that are used to wrap all this stuff. The environmental impact alone is hefty. But is it ruining our children? Because my kids have basically no patience. When the screen loads and buffers for a second, they're just like, oh, God, it's so inconvenient. Like, shut the fuck up. When I was a kid, and you just turn into you're like, oh, I could just become Old Man River. Back in my day,
Yeah.
You get that going on, but it's legitimate. Like, you want to watch your favorite show? Well, figure out what time it's on the fucking television. Figure out if we have that television channel, because that's the thing. And then be in front of the TV, having fought off your siblings for the right to use the TV.
Right? Yeah.
Luckily, I only had the one sibling, and she was smaller than me, but she did make a great booster seat.
That's just so rude.
Well, it is what it is. If she wanted to win fights, she should have been a bigger human. But the point is that these kids, they're just like, there's one little thing, they just want everything now. They want it now.
Yeah. But I feel like where we're at now in I don't know, technology, I'm the same way. Like, if I'm at work and something is buffering for like 25 seconds, I'm like, holy fuck, this is taking forever. I have that same, I feel like we have that background where we know where we came from and we had dial-up internet and or didn't have internet. And so we know that we can put ourselves in check. We can be like, okay, it's not that bad. Right? Even though sometimes you're just trying to get your work done or trying to do something and you're like, the goddamn satellite's not in the right place.
You didn't have to listen. You didn't have to listen to Skrillex every time you wanted to access the internet. So
Exactly. So I feel like it's definitely different. So that patience level is a little bit different when it comes to the kids because they're just so used to, there's like always these jokes or memes or whatever that are going around that are, my kids, everything was quiet in the house and I just unplugged the Wi-Fi router and then everyone just consumed and was like, what's wrong with the Wi-Fi? That's kind of the vibes that this generation gives me. As soon as the Wi-Fi goes down, they're like, oh shit, like they can't function without it sometimes.
Yeah. The other day I was doing some troubleshooting about a week and a half ago. And it was me and the two girls. Katie was at work and I was doing some stuff and, the girls just ran away. Like when we got home, they just ran away. That's what they do. They run away and it's whatever.
Yeah.
When they want to hang out, they come find you and they're like, hey, can we do something? Yeah, cool. Let's do whatever. But generally they're just like, let's go color. Let's go do this. Let's go watch this. Let's go play Minecraft on the Xbox or whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I'm doing some stuff and I had to reset the router. So I reset the router and literally 15 seconds later, both of the children are right beside me, just staring at me. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we want to do something. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And they're like, I don't know. The internet's not working. And I'm like,
so entertain us.
That's the only reason you want to hang out with me? You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Dance, monkey. Yeah. That's exactly how I felt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Entertain us.
I was like, well, if you give me 3 seconds, the internet will be back. And they're like, okay, then we don't want to do anything.
Exactly. Oh, okay. Well, don't bother getting out that board game. We don't want to play it anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I feel that.
But speaking of tabletop games, the Dungeons and Dragons thing is continuing. We did another adventure this week, and I got this huge campaign planned. It's insane. I didn't realize how far down the rabbit hole I was getting, but now I'm here, and I'm like, oh no.
You've committed. You've committed.
There's so much. There's so much. So, hold on. Do I have it here? No, it's upstairs. But I bought this book called Wardlings. And by I mean Katie and I bought this book called Wardlings to run like kid-friendly Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. And it works inside the 5th edition rule set, and it works like interchangeably. So anybody that knows how to play Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition can play this Wardlings. It's the same thing. There's just there's extra characters, and it's its own planet, so it's its own. So anyway, because
I'm
it's
lost
its own
already,
planet,
but anyway.
it doesn't matter. Think Dungeons and Dragons. You think like elves and dwarves and barbarians, and you go out and you fight stuff, right? Wizards and sorcerers, off you go. So this Wardlings game, it has like nothing on the internet. When you go to all of these like character generators, or I need an idea for an adventure to run or whatever, there's all these kind of tools and supports for Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or all these different tabletop games, but there is not generators for Wardlings because it's such a like small thing comparatively. And so I'm literally writing my own storylines based on the lore. So I've literally read the book. Like, it's a rule book with all the stuff. Nobody reads the whole book. You read the little bits and pieces you need to figure out, like, oh, you can't do that because, here the rule says they have to be within 20 feet of you, or whatever. Those are things you check on the fly. And even, like, experienced players that I know, friends of mine, they still don't know all the rules all the time. They still have to check, in the rule book for stats and all that kind of thing. So I literally read all of the lore, the entire history of this planet, and why the continent is the way it is, why history only goes back this far because there was this and that, and the deities, and there's Dex Maya is a twin god, but some people worship Dex, some people worship Maya.
So do you just not have enough to do in the day that you just read this?
I thought it would be a fun, simple thing.
And you went down a rabbit hole is what you did.
I just thought this would be a great way to spend a lot of time with the family, like being a family without screens on, just having fun. And again, the skills, I've gone over like the merits of playing this game with the math skills and the reading and all this extra stuff that the girls have to do, and the problem solving and the communication, and it's been great. But
that's awesome. But that is great.
There's just so much and I didn't realize how far down the rabbit hole I was until I looked, and we have a ClickUp, you and I, for this, and it's like a to-do app, whatever. A lot of people in the tech world will be very familiar with it, but I've literally built an entire world in a ClickUp space. It's like, it's a whole thing.
Okay. I mean, listen, it's cool that you guys are all into it. It's fun that you guys love to do it together. It's kind of something really fun to do, imaginative, involving, like, they get involved with all of the adventure type stuff. So I think it's very cool. Like, it's, as much as it is like way over my head and just something I just not interested, not that I'm not interested, just not something I do.
Bringing it back around, because I've just laid out all of the things, and like it just takes so much time, and there's so much information. There's just so much raw information in this book that doesn't exist on the internet for like searching and organizing. And so I'm literally creating this on my own, And I'm thinking, like, first of all, they better fucking appreciate it. The kids better appreciate it. They're all about, like, I want it now. And I'm like, well, you gotta, like, the next adventure happens in a week because I need a week to get that together. I probably only actually need about an hour to get, like, an adventure up and running. But I have a busy week, and that takes a week to put an hour's worth of stuff together.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know what? That's how I felt when I was doing, just sidebar to that, but when I used to do like scavenger hunt type things for the girls for like Easter, and it would take a very long time to plan like the clues and have like everything, like you had to have everything in order in which they would be found, so that it'd be like this clue leads to the next clue. And so I would a couple of times, like, well, I made like a treasure map one time, and they had to like follow these things, and I kind of made it because I'm like, I really love everything like Egyptian, and so I kind of made it a little bit more of that kind of a theme. And there's so much work and time and effort and printing things and making things and writing the clues and like all of these things that go into creating this fun scavenger hunt thing. And then the assholes complete it in 5 minutes. Well, the thing is, they complete it in because I didn't want them, because the first time I did it, it was like they were, a lot younger. And the first time I did it, some of the clues, which I thought weren't that hard, were a little, and as soon as it was a little bit difficult, that's when the frustration and like the whatever kicks in.
Instant gratification.
Exactly.
Thank you, internet.
I know.
Anyway.
And so I was like, okay, so the next year I did it, I was like, I'll make it a little bit more semi-easier, like things that were pretty simple, I guess, but like you still had to kind of work for it, whatever. But all this time and effort goes into these things, and it takes like maximum 10 minutes. So an entire week of my time, not like, not 8-hour days, but like, you spend an entire week after you work getting stuff together and planning, and then you place everything everywhere, and then it just is over in 10 minutes, and you're like, all of that for 10 fucking minutes. God damn it. And so it's one of those things where, there was a couple, like, where we share custody with the kids with their mom, and so it's every other week, and so it doesn't matter. The only holiday we ever switch over is like Christmas. And so whatever Easter landed on, it landed on. And so 2 years in a row, it was on our week, which was great. So that's when I did kind of the scavenger hunt things. And then a couple years in a row, it was at their mom's. And so there was like well, are we still going to do the scavenger hunt? And I was like, fuck no, I'm not going through all that effort again. For that whole 10 minutes.
You didn't even appreciate it last time.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Like, I really enjoyed doing it. Like, that's it. Like, I did enjoy doing it.
We are different people, but that's fine.
Well, it is a lot of work, but it is kind of fun in that sense. But there's different ways to go about it. And I think nowadays there's probably things you could, an app for that. There's an app for everything. There's probably something you could just fucking download. I don't know. Anyway.
There's a nap for that. That's the way I look at everything now.
No, that's fair.
I got to do some laundry. I better take a nap first. There's a nap for that.
Definitely.
That's just how I live my life.
That's fair.
But the biggest thing about like everything's just available all like now. It's available now. Mm-hmm. And so when you think about it, like our kids are just not used to waiting for things. They're just not. So when they have to wait for things, they're just obnoxious little shits about it because they don't know how to be patient.
Yeah.
It's not a skill they've had to master, so they just have no concept of what that is.
Yeah. And even when they're younger, it's hard because especially when they're younger, they don't really have a concept of time. So patience isn't a thing because you can't be like, oh, just another 10 minutes. They have no idea what 10 minutes are. So like there's no there's a certain point where they get older where they do understand how time works. And then that patience is just still not there. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if technology is good. There's a lot of good things and there's a lot of, not so great things that go along with it. So anyway, it's just us old crotchety people sitting on our porch, shaking our fist at people driving up our road too quickly or, getting off our lawn. I feel sometimes that's how I feel. I'm like, I just want to be like on a farm somewhere. Just no one's allowed on my property. That's kind of how I feel some days.
Yeah. Just shaking your fist at the...
Just the world. Just the world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you kids and your everything. I don't know.
Yeah. You want everything right now. Back when I was a kid, I had to wait for popcorn.
Always back to the back in my day.
Right? That's most of what this podcast feels to me now is like,
I know,
remember when we were kids and things were, we say simpler, but things were a lot more complicated, in certain ways, but they were simpler in other ways. So it's not obviously there's just no apples to apples anymore. You can't compare.
It's hard to compare it. Yeah.
My childhood was 10 years before my partner's childhood. Like, she's quite a bit younger than me by about a decade. And my childhood was very different from hers because by the time I was 12, I was starting to figure out, oh, we got the internet, we got dial-up in the house, and we have a computer that can do stuff. How cool is that? And
you were 12 when you had that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like 17. That we just started getting it, like 16, 17. That's when I got it.
Yeah, but you lived in Windsor, Nova Scotia.
Okay,
so.
attack much?
I'm just saying.
Says you from Dartmouth.
Well, it was part of Halifax. The amalgamation happened in 1995. Thank you very much.
I didn't come here for a history lesson. I don't care. Just kidding.
That's probably a good thing because it would be shady history at best. But the point is, the internet was not accessible to a lot of people for a long time.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get dial-up to certain places, and then once dial-up was available everywhere and high speed started, remember 56.6 modems? They were on all the time. You didn't have to dial up or nothing. It was crazy. And I remember that being such a big fucking deal. And but then that was considered high-speed internet at the time. To put that in perspective, I have 100. I mean, I can upload at 100 megabits per second. We were looking 56 kilobits per second was high-speed internet. Okay, there are 1,024 megabytes in a gigabyte.
Okay, you already lost me, so that's fine.
The point is,
it was slow and ours is fast now.
But high-speed internet was 1,000% slower than it is now. That's insane.
But when you think about it, we were doing way less stuff back then that would need any sort of... There was no TikTok. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook.
There couldn't be.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, none of that required, that's why things evolve, because it's like, oh, we want to create these programs that need all of this power. And so they had to evolve, like just everything else. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think things evolve how they evolve especially with technology. It's just, there are things that are great that make it more convenient, but I think it makes all of us a little less patient. And then when it comes to our kids, they just don't have any reference point to not having things instant. So it's harder for them to grasp when the Wi-Fi goes down for 30 seconds. So,
they just cannot, they don't have any experience with not having the internet accessible.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not every kid either, right? Like, it's not like there are
no.
Yeah, like it's just, it doesn't apply to every, teen or kid or whatever.
But my
it's
kids,
just,
we get in the car and the internet, as soon as we get away from the house and the Wi-Fi cuts off, they're just like, oh, I guess I'll watch the downloaded ones. And I'm just like, your life is so hard.
I know. That's why I think it's so good to do, if you can, like a weekend away from the technology. Like, to do, whether it's camping, whether it's just getting an Airbnb somewhere, I don't know. But it's just camping. Like, to just try and like unplug for a little while. Like, it's so nice and it's rejuvenating, I know, for myself. And it's kind of nice because sometimes you're just so glued. We're glued to our phones and our computers and everything, that it's nice to let that go, because you really, I don't know, it makes you kind of really appreciate just everything else. You're like, wow, not everything has to do with social media and my work. And, I can be a human outside of all of that. So it is nice to
Okay.
like kind of do that unplugging.
Sure, you can be a human without social media. I get it. Fine. In the interest of things now, show me social media. It's top tweets time.
All right, I'm on it.
All right.
As
Now,
he
how
says,
long does it take her to get her
nope,
phone out?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Open it. Are you actually?
I am ready. Listen,
the first
my
thing
battery's
that's
gonna
gone
die,
right today.
so shut the fuck up and let me talk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, so our first one. So this one is from at Crockett for Real, and it says, "I ate the last Hot Pocket and left the empty box in the freezer. I think it's time the kids learn how that shit feels." How fucking true is that? You know how many times that I've gone into like a cupboard or something and there's just like an empty fucking box in there, or or like a cracker box that, it's open and there's still some in there, but there's like 3 left and it's open and they're all stale now. That happens.
There were still some left. Yeah.
And they're all stale. Thank you. I didn't want to chew on cardboard, but appreciate it.
Right?
Thank you.
The biggest one in our house when that was the thing that drove me the most nuts was the empty milk. And I know it drove my dad nuts too, but I got blamed for it a lot and it was not me. I don't put empty things back in the fridge. I just don't.
Oh, and
Like, you could blame me for a lot of things going wrong in our house. Empty things in the fridge was never me. For the record, Mom, if you ever watch this show,
it
wasn't me.
Me. Promise. One of the things, that's one of the things, so we have...
Remember that the other child you had did a lot of
there were
smoking
2 of us.
weed? Yes. She did a lot of weed smoking back then when I didn't, even though I got called out for it and wasn't, but...
Oh, this got personal and deep real quick.
I know. That could be a whole other episode. But anyway, moving on.
Okay, moving on. So, this one I found, and I had to, it had really nothing to do with our podcast today because we just went a whole other rant, but this fits kind of perfectly. So it's from at Mom's Behaving Badly, and it's like, as soon as you say, my child would never, here they come, nevering like they nevered before. And how true is that? You're like, my child would
kid
never
would never do that,
this.
except for this one time. This is the first time ever.
This
and
never
she must have just
happened.
heard us talking about it. Like, yeah.
It's
the panic.
the worst. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, and I'll leave it with the last one because it kind of fits with my drinking of this evening. But this one's from at Henpecked Hal, and it's, waiter, anything to drink? 4-year-old. My mom needs a fucking margarita. So yeah, they're always listening. Which was the best about when the kids were younger, because it's so true. It's so true.
Yep. Yeah. Like we were playing Dungeons and Dragons last week, not this week, but last week, and Katie said something like, she goes, "Oh shit," and just kind of like really quietly to herself, and I didn't, and then then. Amelia's kind of doing whatever, and then she looks up and she's trying to think about it, and she looks like, and I'm like, what's the matter? And she looks at Katie and goes, why shit? Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So we're like, okay.
Well, you know what? The thing is, when it comes to swear words, this is a whole other thing, and I won't spend too much time on it, but where we really live, like, we kind of had to tell the girls, like, you're going to hear a lot of curse words from, like, a lot of our neighbors. Like, every other word out of their mouth is a curse word. So I'm like, you're just going to have to be used to hearing that a lot. And I myself also curse, but it just wasn't to that extreme. So, because, when you're at home, you kind of just try and reel that in a little bit. And so she,
not anymore.
No, well, not now. Definitely not now. But when they were younger, we did, because we were kind of like, okay, you're going to hear these words. Please don't use them. You can use them in the house. Just please don't use them outside of the house, because I don't want to be blamed for that shit. But anyway, so that's kind of like where that all ended up. But now that they're older, it's just free for all. But anyway.
Yeah. Stop fucking swearing. Anyway. Yeah.
Well, we made it.
Anyway.
We made it through. We somehow made it here. I do want to give one shout out. So I want to say, first of all, thank you to everyone that listened/watched to our last episode, because we actually had way more views on our YouTube video than we did like audio version, which was really cool to see that difference. So I was that's great that you want to see our lovely faces for whatever reason. So that was kind of cool. So I just want to give a shout out for everyone who watched, because there was a lot more views. Yeah, that was really great. And just thanks in period for listening / watching. And then one of the big things is if you have feedback for us, please just follow us on our socials and just like DM us or whatever and let us know your feedback, because the only way we're going to get better and talk about things that you maybe want to hear and not us just ranting about how to load a fucking dishwasher, we're open to hearing about that. So I just want to kind of give that plug. And then also we are taking next week off because of other things, but there will be social media and other type things available for you next week. We just won't be having a new episode. So we'll be back the following week. So that's all I had. And then if you want to do the social things again, you can do that too.
The program just crashed.
Perfect.
That's how the episode ends this week.
I love it. That's perfect.
It literally just crashed.
It totally crashed. That's amazing. So my audio is still going, so we can just...
As is mine. So for the audio folks, you can listen on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I love how you're like thanking the people for watching the video, and then it cuts off. Oh my Jesus.
This is... Oh my fucking God. This is just the way that today is going. Anyway, thanks for watching the video / I guess just listening now. So
yeah, the video crashed. I'm super sorry. I'm sorry I didn't do anything. But yeah, what a
mess. If you made it this far, thank you, first of all.
Why do people keep watching us?
I don't know.
A gong show. Maybe that's why they keep watching us. As soon as we get our shit together, people are like, oh, that's boring. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, now they know there's stuff going on. Anyway, we appreciate it.
Follow us on the social medias, idiots.
Yes.
By idiots, I mean me, not you. So Facebook /PaRANTing. Twitter is @PaRANTingPod. Instagram is @PaRANTingPodcast. YouTube, just type in PaRANTing Podcast. Yeah. We don't have our own yet.
But I also do
like and subscribe.
Yeah, please do.
Like and subscribe.
Please do, because I will always post our YouTube link, and then if you like and subscribe, and then you'll always see stuff when we're posting. Same with our other social medias. It's just super helpful for us to kind of get that engagement and kind of know what you guys want to see in here, and if you're actually liking what you're listening to or seeing. So, which is today, I don't blame you if you don't like this shit. It was a bit of a rough day, but this is what it is. So I would like to say it's a lot different, but it's actually it's not really. It's not really.
Usually I'm less angry about how anxiety-filled I am usually, but anyway.
It's fine.
So thank you for watching.
Yes.
Reminder, we are not back next week. We're the following week.
Yes.
Katie needs time to...
We'll be back in April.
Yeah, back in April, after April Fool's Day, not before.
This is not a prank. We will not be here next week.
Imagine, like, nobody come watch us. The prank is on us.
We're like,
it's not even...
lol. They're like, okay, fuck you then. I don't give a shit.
This show's just for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening / watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We are what we are. PaRANTing Podcast. Bye, friends. Don't roll your eyes at me. That's so rude.